What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about Kaspa, KAS USDT on KuCoin here. Looking at this thing, I've got price targets, you guys, for prices that are below 3 cents and even below 2 cents, and I want to go over why I think that those are completely possible, plausible, realistic, even likely. Before we continue going higher. And it's a good thing, for anybody who hears that and they're like, how dare you? Like, it's a good thing, man. You want, if you want a coin to do well and grow, it needs to have retracements. It's healthy. It's normal. You need to shake out the weak hands and give the strong hands an opportunity to buy in at lower prices. And any other people who are interested investors or speculators, give them a chance to buy as well. You want to keep that kind of price interest going, and I think Kaspa definitely has that. But looking at this just for what it is, before I explain why I think it's going down lower to those targets specifically, here we have a high. Here we have a lower high. We have, yet again, another lower high. And then even here we have a lower high. Here we have a low, and here is the low before it, making this a lower low. If we connect the dots, you can see that we are in a bit of a downward sloping channel, kind of like a downtrend, right? I think we're in the beginning of that. Coming out of the overbought zone with some bearish divergence like this, and then not only that, but on the RSI itself, if we were to connect this line here from the top to that top there, you can see that let's make it a little tighter, that we did find resistance right at this line, and we've kind of been finding resistance on it, or we've turned around since. I would expect that we go lower from here, that we are probably going to reject from this area. I was looking at something earlier, and it was this move right here. When we moved down and we moved up, I'm curious, just real quick, I am kind of curious. I want to see. There's not really anything to go off of. Okay, that's okay. From top here to this low, you came all the way up to your 618, just barely. You were actually just below it, and the 618 is the golden ratio. It's a very heavily watched target. Whenever you have a range like this, it's a very heavily watched target, and sometimes you get a move like this where it just reaches up to the 618 and it can't quite get there, and that's the theory, the logic behind this, and why it's so bearish, why you get such a bearish aftermath whenever you reach to it but you can't quite touch it. Like, touching it could produce the same result at the end of the day, maybe not, but almost always a reach like this is pretty bearish. It's a signal that this drop is going to be a little bit heavier. We're probably going to go lower than this low, and obviously it's easy to say that in hindsight, but the reason for this is, there's algorithms, there's traders, there's day traders that are aware of this level. They might not be aware of the fibs so much, but the 618, like they might not know how to read a fib scale so well, but anybody can point out the 618 and find significance on it most of the time in most charts. If we take that same kind of look here, and keep in mind, right, this was kind of halfway through this overall down move. From top to bottom here, we reached to the 618. We have like a tweezer top on the daily, actually, and we couldn't quite get there. I do expect and would expect that we go lower than this low. And where are we going to go from there? Well, I've already told you guys, I think we're going below 3 cents and potentially even below 2 cents, but I want to go over specific reasons why I think those targets are going to happen. This look right here, guys, is not a good look. It really isn't. And that's why I think, as long as you are continuing to maintain these lower highs in your RSI, you don't close above this high here. You can go above that high, sure. But if you close, as long as you don't close above it, then I think that this downtrend is maintained. Close above that daily high there, it's not that far away, right? Look at this price right now, right? On this day, we're only 1.55% away from that. Close above that there. That's a lot further away than this 12.29, this 12.3% move, which I'm predicting. I think that we're actually going to go further than that, a lot lower. This 1.55% move, make that. Just close above that, and then this idea of going lower will be heavily invalidated. I wonder, actually, just on the note of trying to invalidate myself, let's see, from bottom to top there, yeah, you found a little support on your 0.5. You kind of grinded it. Generally, whenever you see support on your 0.5 and you go to new highs, you make a significant move. Here you kind of grinded on it, finding resistance at your 236, man. This is a pretty classic setup in itself to go down to the 618 or the 69, and it wouldn't surprise me if we went down there, because look at that, it's a lower low in comparison to all these lows here. But let's see, I wonder besides this setup alone, from bottom to top here, I'm going to delete these little white lines. Come on, white lines, there we go. Bottom to top here, your minimum extension, your like expected area to hit would be right here at 3.9 cents at the 1272, which happens to coincide with your 618. Your 1618, your golden extension, is actually just a little bit below the sweet spot here between the 69 and the 618. I do expect that you go below your 618, but I mean maybe not. Maybe you do find support as low as 3.9 cents, or I guess as high as 3.9 cents. You really might go lower than that. And I think as we zoom out, we kind of have more reasons to believe that, or there's more of like legitimacy to that kind of idea. KAS USD on crypto. This is where we're going to get away from the KuCoin chart, because we need a little bit of historical data here. You can see, right, a lot less historical data. We have volume on that chart. We have volume, but we have no volume here, but we have a lot more historical data. So going off of this chart, I like to refer back to like any run up that Kaspa's had, right? Even this one here, just a single top and then down, all the way up, single top and then down. This was probably a scam, like fake wick here, crypto, whatever this is. It's like the crypto, I don't know, it's spot crypto. It's not an exchange or anything like that. They sometimes do have wicks that aren't like real on any exchange for whatever reason. Here again, another top and then down, top and then down. Here we have a double top. It's the first double top, major double top, that Kaspa's ever had in its existence. Not only that, but if we were to take another kind of idea into account, from top here to this top, I'm going to count it from this top here, not the scam top. That's a 578% difference, right? If we move that up here from that same top to this next top, that is a 92.5% difference, right? From this top to this top, that's a 337 basically percent difference. And then here, from this top to, let's do the technical top, that's a 26% difference. Okay, so by far, you've had the smallest amount of growth. You've taken the longest amount of time to grow the least amount that you've seen in this thing's history. You have a double top for the first time in this thing's history. If we look at the weekly RSI itself, we were looking at the daily before with that descending trend line, right? If we look at the weekly itself, you have a high here in your RSI. You have a high here in your RSI, and you have a high here. They're all lower highs. You have a high, higher high, and an even higher high on your weekly closing bases. That is double bearish divergence on your weekly. That's nothing to take lightly, you guys. That really isn't anything to take lightly. Not only that, but you have found resistance. You straight rejected your overbought zone, which is not a good look either. Generally, whenever you see something like this with a rejection off the overbought zone like that, it's not over until you see the oversold zone, which this in its history has never seen, which is phenomenal. That speaks volumes to its strength, man. I really think Kaspa is going to do phenomenal things for people that invest in it at the right time. You know, anybody that's invested in it within basically since July of this year, you guys, you know, buckle up. Things aren't going to look too good for you in a couple months. You know, I don't know too much about the project itself. I had someone saying that you can't do technical analysis without fundamentals, but I mean, obviously you don't know how technical analysis is done, because you can clearly, you can definitely do technical analysis without fundamentals. I do plenty of technical analysis on things, and I have accurately made calls on things that I have no idea what the company is. You know, I don't care to. You know, I don't invest in Kaspa. I might invest in it if it goes lower. Right now being worth, let's see, if we type in KAS, Kaspa, it's number 43, being worth 986 million. I've got my eyes on lower cap coins, and if they are larger cap, they're coins that have been around for multiple cycles, not just, you know, been around since 2022. But you know, that's beside the point. If I was to buy into this thing, it would have to drop from here. It would have to drop at least 50%, and I do think that that's possible. If we take this low to the top, and we look for the 618, that's right there. 618 to the 69 is actually at like 2.12 cents to 1.9 cents, right in that range. And I want to go back and just measure. I did this in my last video, but let's measure. You know, we were doing some other measurements, talking about how much growth we saw between these highs, but how much of a deficit did we see from top to bottom? We saw 74%, higher lows throughout all of it. So I mean, truthfully, I don't expect that we're going to go lower than this low. We are forming some kind of an M pattern right now, right? You can see it. It's like the beginning of it, but I think that this will be a failed M pattern. A real M pattern, the second leg would be longer than the first leg. and maybe that happens, but I personally, just with how this chart looks, man, I personally don't expect that. It could happen. Anything can happen, but let's get back to the main point of focus here. From top to bottom, 74% drop. From this top to, not the scam wick, the real wick, 74% again. Okay. Top, this one I think is the 55, right? 57% drop. And then from here, top to bottom, 72%. So 3 out of 4 significant drops for Kaspa so far have resulted in a plus 70% drop. One of them resulted in a 57% drop, still pretty dramatic, from the top, right? From each of their highs, assuming that this was a scam wick and that's not real price action. So if we're looking at this top here, and we were to do, let's say we did 57%. Well, a 57% drop, that's 56%, would take us to about 2.3 cents, okay? That would be the smallest drop that Kaspa has ever had, the smallest drop that it's ever had, coming off of the smallest expansion that it's ever had, the only time that it's ever had a double top in its price action, forming weekly bearish divergence on its RSI, the only time it's found resistance on the overbought zone. You think it's going to find the smallest rejection that it's ever seen. It's a brand new coin, guys. It's only been around for like a year and a half, right? Like, when this thing drops, it's not kind, right? It likes to give a lot back, and that's great for people who want to invest in this thing. It's not so great for people who just hodl all the way through. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you hodled, even if you bought up here and you hodled all the way through, you're going to be happy, but profits aren't profits until they're realized, you know, just being frank here. For all we know, this thing could go all the way down. Like, it could go a lot lower than even I'm expecting, but let's keep it ground level here. Let's keep it, you know, on planet Earth, and just assume that we have somewhat of a normal drop, whatever an expected drop would be. You know, if you have 74, 74, 72, 57, let's do this actually. I'm kind of curious. Google calculator, and I'm just going to kind of round, right? 74 plus 74 plus 57 plus 72, right? 74, 74, 57, 72. And 0.02, 0.0, whatever, but 74, 74, 57, 72, right? All of that equals that. And then we divide it by 4 to get the mean, right, to get the average. That's a 69% drop on average, right? 69% would take us, if we were to see a quote-unquote average drop from the data that we have, which isn't much, again, it's a new coin, that would take us down to 1.6 cents. Is that possible? Could it do that and still maintain higher lows? Absolutely it could. Absolutely it could. If we take this from a low to a top, that's actually down at the 886. That's not even actually at the 886. And finding, it's a deep retracement. Finding a retracement that low isn't common, but that is kind of like your last line of defense if you're expecting to turn up and go from there. So is it possible that Kaspa could see yet again another 70% drop, or something that's greater than a 50% drop from its top? Absolutely, absolutely, I think it is. And it'll be more obvious once we break this low here. But let's just see. Let's do some other stuff, right? There was something else I did yesterday, which is I took the bottom to the top here. We found support on the 382. Okay, take the bottom to the top here. I think it's the 382 again. Yeah, you found support on the 382 yet again. Here we are, bottom to top. This time it's a little deeper, right at the 0.5. Okay, and then this time I'm calling for something that's even deeper. But the thing is, the reason why this isn't so hard to expect, the 618 to the 69, is because that in itself is still within the realm of 65 to 60% of a drop, right? It's still a higher low overall for Kaspa. It might be a deeper retracement, but that's because we saw more lackluster price action, right? It would still come into play with every other aspect of a drop that we've seen. Generally speaking, let's continue to kind of analyze these drops here. Generally speaking, from top to top, let's see, that's 14 bars. Top, I forget if I did this one, that's 11 bars. I think I did do this, and this one's longer, obviously, 18 bars. So 14, 11, 18, and then from this one to, you know, it's hard to say. Like, I would almost want to count this one, but truthfully, it's over here, 25 bars. That's kind of not really like too much of an appropriate range. I would say that we are, long story short, we are very overdue for some kind of correction. This is the longest time that we've seen, but even if it was back to this first top 19 bars, that is still the longest amount of time we've seen and up till now even, it's been the most amount of time we've seen without seeing a major pullback in Kaspa. It's not detrimental. It's not something that is bad, that means Kaspa's shit or anything like that. It's just something normal. It's healthy. This thing has had normal, dramatic, but healthy retracements throughout all of its existence, right? So I don't think it's too far-fetched at all, being that the Bitcoin halving is in April, probably mid-April or the beginning of April. Here we are in the middle of October. Let's count it out right now. October, November, December, January, February, March, April. I think I lost you guys on my computer as I was counting, or on my phone, or my camera. That's what I'm trying to say, yeah. It's 6 months, though. You can't see it. I guess my camera's glitching out. I'm sorry. I had no idea until just now. I don't know how long that's been going on for. But 6 months. 6 months away from the halving. Most of the time, crypto does not perform well at the halving, before the halving, or even right after the halving. It's a little bit. It's like months, like a quarter of a year or more after the halving that we see crypto start to do bullish things, like bull market things. So being that it's 6 months until the halving, and probably even longer than that until the crypto markets really kick off and do bullish things, probably in the latter half of 2024, going into 2025. Does Kaspa need to continue to go up from here to have hopes to perform well in the coming bull market? Absolutely not. This is actually a perfect, literally a perfect time in this like time of stagnation where everything's kind of trying to figure itself out before the halving. And Kaspa just went on this long run that, yes, it wasn't the biggest run that it's had before. You did set new all-time highs. We had a double top, and you're kind of lagging out right now. You look like you want to roll over, right? Like you can just see this. It's got this like rolling motion. Generally, when you see this, you do drop your ass. But this is a perfect time to do that, man. It really is the perfect time to do that. You're not going to miss out on anything. There's probably a lot of cryptos that are going to go lower in this time as well. So I just wanted to kind of touch base and go over some of the reasons, the very like legitimate technical reasons as to why I have price targets that are around 2 cents or even below 2 cents. And again, we could go all the way down to this 1.4 cent zone. You guys thought 2 cents was ridiculous. I mean, I'm serious. This very well could happen. That is the average drop from the data that we've been given, which to my knowledge is all the data in Kaspa's history. And then, those are like the relevant fibs too. I don't really know if there's anything else to add other than that. We can look at the 4 hour. 4 hour, very strong, very, very strong, but you finished it off, right? You finished off this nice move with bullish divergence, or bearish divergence, I'm sorry, kind of a double top. Here you are getting your lower highs in. I think it's all over but the crying, man. I really do. For those of you who are invested in Kaspa and you're thinking, this guy's crazy, it's going to go up from here, best of luck to you. I hope you do well. But for those of you who are wondering, is it too late to sell? Have I missed the boat? It was all the way up here at 5.2 cents. We're sitting now at 4.6 cents. Yes, it just went on a run, but that's still far away from the top. On this overall retracement here, we're not even that far below the 236. On this overall retracement, like the more like kind of major one that I think we'll be respecting, we're not even at the 236. We're closer to the 0.069. You are well within the if there was a designated safe area to sell. I think that this is probably a safe area to sell. Someone told me to short this thing. I made a joke and I said that I would short this thing, but I'm not going to short it, guys. I don't have any accounts. I live in the United States. I can't short anything, unfortunately. I tried to get into some accounts because I actually did want to short this thing. My camera's gone out again on me, but whatever. I did want to short it because I think that it actually is a prime opportunity to short, but I can't. It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but if I could short this thing, I definitely would right here. This would be a perfect opportunity. I really think it does look like a bull trap and everything like that, but enough going around in circles, guys. I think it's going lower. I think it's going to take its time going lower. I know that this kind of looks quick, right? But even this like quick drop was 4 weeks. That's a month, right? This took, let's see, how long? From top to bottom, that took 8 weeks. Just under 2 months, right? Top here to bottom, 5 weeks, a little bit over a month. So, I mean, I'm just kind of thinking probably in the beginning of next year is whenever we're going to see the low come in. I mean, maybe we see it by the end of this year. It's totally possible as well. But I would expect, with this double top and kind of how things have been acting, I would expect it to be a little bit more drawn out. But I don't know. Maybe we do finish it off before. I don't know. Maybe we do finish it off in November. Hard to say. That is possible. But I don't know. Regardless of when it happens, I just believe that it is going to happen, and I think I've said everything I need to say. So if you guys like the video, leave a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, tell me why you don't like the video. Is it my face? Is it the way I talk? Do you just not like my price predictions? Are you scared? Tell me what it is. Anyways, take care, everybody. Appreciate all the likes, appreciate the subscribers. Thank you guys. Take care. Bye bye.